So it is Friday night and waiting for my steak to rest picanha tonight. So the sirloin capped, fat capped, very popular in Rodizio. I cut them into steaks and they come out fantastic. I actually prefer it rotisserie, and then you cook it a little different. Why am I talking about steak? But that is what is resting. Some wines I haven't ordered in a while from a certain wine list. So it's Carlisle. That was the first wine list I ever was on a wait list, and then I got on, and it took a long time. At the time, Carlisle was a really hot ticket for wines, and specifically they make some amazing zinfandel, and I probably won't be able to read the back of these labels. And I did fall out. I used to love zinfandel, and we're talking about red zinfandel. Yes, there's the white zinfandel. Now, that's not a grape. The grape is zinfandel. White zinfandel became a byproduct, actually a mistake, I think, if I'm not mistaken, by Sutter Home. They put it out, it became super popular. It was called Blush, White Zin. I even saw it. There was a White Merlot version. But really, that Sutter Home White Zin became pretty hot. They even made Franzia boxed wine out of it, and it just had this touch of sweetness to it, and it was terrible. but widely desired, and that might have saved the Zinfandel, the red Zinfandel, the grapes that really ended up making it. But these red Zinfandels are legitimate wines. In Italy, I think it's called, gosh, I am blanking. It's got a synonym in Italy, different name to the same grape, and I'm sure it tastes different in Italy. I don't think I've ever had an Italian version of Zinfandel, and I'm forgetting the grape name. But got 4 wines from Carlisle. There is a wine from Carlisle that I absolutely think is stunning and amazing, and it's made from another old varietal that was used a lot during Prohibition called Alicante Boucher. It's very popular out of Portugal. It was a very thick-skinned grape. The reason it was popular during Prohibition is because they could grow it in California and send it by train all the way to the East Coast so people could make their own wine. During Prohibition, if you made your own alcohol, I guess it was legal, if I'm not mistaken, and my history is accurate and correct. But a lot of Alicante Boucher was planted because of the thickness of the grape skin, and it traveled very well. But made in the right places, it can be fantastic wine. I'm going to get the name wrong. Tanterier, which means, I think that's the word, but it means not just red grape skin, but red fleshed. There's not that many grapes that are both of that. The red wines typically have a white grape juice in the middle. The skin might be red. The way they get the color is by macerating those skins and forming the color. Tanterier, I think. Alicante Boucher is one of the few grapes that actually is red on the inside and the outside. So, interesting enough, it comes out big, bold, and Carlisle's is by far the best I've ever had. I did have once a 75% blend out of, I want to say Portugal, and I forget what the other 25% was. I think it was Tadiga Nacional, which is a very also big, bold grape out of Portugal. Sort of if you want a Cabernet alternative in Portugal, you get a wine that says Tadiga Nacional, maybe from the Douro region, and you might get something equivalent. Big, bold, red, juicy, blackberry flavors, things of that nature. So all over the place with this start here, but 4 wines from Carlisle. First one is this Grenache. Why did I even bother with this? It is a lighter style Grenache. Very acidic, light-bodied, and I'm pretty sure it's low alcohol. I can't quite see all that right this moment, but why don't I get something so I can see that? So continuing, I thought this was lighter style. This is a 15.1% Grenache from the Rossi Ranch. And it's also 25% co-fermented with Mourvedre. And all these are small production, 250 cases only of this wine made a year. And they do a lot of that. So Carlisle does a lot of sourcing. They don't have their own, I think they might have a few of their own vineyards, but a lot of it is sourcing from really great growers and farmers. And this is from Sonoma County, Sonoma Valley, Rossi Ranch. And I've enjoyed this over the years. I think the first time I had it, I wasn't so thrilled. And then since then, I just grew to really desire this style of Grenache. Now, this is a high alcohol one. I am curious how this one will taste. So that'll be an interesting one. These are all 2022s. And this is Carlisle, Sonoma County, Old Hill Ranch Red Wine. A huge blend. It's a blend of, this is also 15%, another big boy here. Maybe 2022 is a very ripe vintage. So this is what they call, what do they call these? Field blend. Whatever's in that field. And this field was planted in 1885 by William McPherson Hill. And it's an old vine blend of over 20 varieties. I forget what the majority is in this. Sometimes they don't even care about what was in there. These are very old vineyards. You're talking ancient vines, gnarly, low production, but what they put out is typically very concentrated and very desired. Carlisle's a pro at finding these types of growers with these ancient varietals, which is what clued me in on them as having some of the best Zinfandels I've ever had. The other producer I think that makes amazing, well, two others, Robert Bialy and Turley are the two that I think make some fantastic Zinfandels. They also make really great Syrah. This one's from St. Lucia Highlands, Monterey County, Sierra Mar Vineyard, 14.4. Anything interesting on the back? Not really, but it's supposed to be a big, big, bold Syrah. Not much black pepper, but a lot of purple, blue, and black type fruits. So, big, bold Syrah is what I remember a lot of these Carlisle ones. There's one specifically, I think it was with the Papera Ranch, and I swear it reminded me of red velvet cake. After I let it decant for about an hour, the aroma, even slightly on the taste, it had this very alluring red velvet cake. It was one of the only ones I've ever had that way. Last one, another is the only Zinfandel from Papera Ranch, ironically. The Syrah from this, and I might have got it wrong. The Syrah was not from Papera Ranch. It was from Papa's Block Syrah. So to get that correct. This is also 15% from Russian River Valley. I'm assuming this is another very old one. From vines planted in 1934, so almost 100 years. Now, why did I stop liking Zinfandel? Not that I stopped liking it. I used to be enamored with it and would sing its praises, being a misunderstood grape, misunderstood wine that had great value. It still does have great value, but I got a little tired of it. I think I got tired a little bit of some of the spice, the baking spice that I got out of it, and I got a specific flavor profile, and it's one of the few things that I don't, there's only a handful of foods that I really dislike. Not that I dislike, that I just don't really gravitate towards in certain fruits. Goji berries. I don't really like goji berries. I know that's an odd flavor to not like. Zinfandel started tasting to me like goji berries. I don't know why. But tonight, since I haven't had a Zinfandel in forever, that's going to be the wine. And we're just going to go and see how this thing is. I haven't had one in a real long time. Carlisle's an absolute expert at it. There's really not a better producer for Zinfandel to me than Carlisle, honestly. So let's just go with this one. Sniffing the cork means nothing, by the way. Absolutely nothing. You're sniffing cork. It smells like cork, not like wine. Put it in the glass before you smell it. Something about Zinfandel is they could be very bold, and typically these ones out of California, because they're normally pretty ripe, can be pretty alcoholic. But what they're not is super tannic typically. I haven't had a really tannic Zinfandel ever. So it's got like a bold, what drew me to them many moons ago was a bold flavor and a deliciousness. They have what they call bramble fruits, raspberries, strawberries. Those types of fruits were always in these in high proportion and felt concentrated. Haven't had one in a while. But then when I started getting goji berry and too much baking spice, I guess it smells like Zinfandel. But not bad. But I smell goji berry. I don't know what it is. I smell goji berry. Gosh, I absolutely smell it. It's crazy. I smell a little bit of raspberry, not really any strawberry, a little bit of cherry, a little bit of baking spice, all those things that I kind of got tired of. So up on the palate, it's maybe a little more decadent, a little more juicy. It is a pop and pour. Probably could have used a decan, and this thing's young. Zinfandels do age really well because they do have, it's like I was saying, the tannin level is probably medium-ish. The acid level is probably medium plus. So things either have, high acid will age a very, very long time. I think high tannin can age long too, but the tannins will dissipate. All those flavors are there. There's nothing wrong with this wine. But it lacks tannin. It has acidity. It has goji berry. It has raspberry. It has some cherry. It has baking spice. I guess I'm just palate fatigued for this style. I just am. Even though this is a good expression of a Zinfandel. This is exactly what you want to taste like. This isn't as extracted. As much as this is high alcohol, this is really in check. You would never in a million years know this is 15%. Very well balanced as far as alcohol to wine. I can see why people love this or could love this. It's just not what I prefer anymore. It's just not. Don't want to keep drinking this tonight with my steak. I think I'm going to have a glass and see how I do with my steak. It's got the acidity. It's absolutely making my mouth water. But gosh, is that I keep saying it over and over, but I can't get it out of my head. That goji, it's like a dry berry that's got this pungent spice that makes your tongue tingle. That's what this is doing, which is so bizarre. So bizarre. Well, it's been a while. Steaks are definitely fully rested. I'm gonna open something else. Don't know what, but I don't believe I'm going to enjoy my steak enough with this wine, and I don't want to do that. I haven't had a drink in a bit. Been a little under the weather again, and I want to enjoy this picanha. So, with that, have a good night. Sometimes these things happen, and it's just sometimes where your palate, I'm not going to say matures, changes over time. Things you desire, things you crave, this is just not it anymore, unfortunately for me. Nothing wrong with it, but it is varietally correct. It's just not my varietal anymore. Okay, have a good night.